Welcome back. I'm sharing this story today mainly because we're almost 3 months into the new year, and I've been reflecting heavily on 2024. It was literally the year that changed my life. So I want to give you a bit of a backstory to 2023 and what was actually going on. What happened in 2023, which led me to having the year of 2024 I had, which then led me to having this amazing start to 2025. So in 2023, I eradicated some really bad habits I had. I was going out drinking, doing things I shouldn't the previous year, smoking weed. New Year's hit 2023, and I left it all behind me. No drinks, no drugs, just straight focus. I then adopted some really, really good habits. I read a shit ton of books, as you can see up here. This photo was taken in my shoe cleaning office, and there's me cleaning some shoes. So that was the business I was running. We weren't making much money at all from it. Alongside this, I had a 9 to 5 job as a renewable energy developer. I was trying to work my way up to be the development director, but I was unfulfilled. I had no purpose. I had no passion towards it. The times in my day which I'd get the most passion and fulfillment was when I was kickboxing, when I was on my dinner breaks, when I was reading those books, learning Spanish, going for those walks. And that's what I wanted to do with all of my time. I'd wake up in the morning before anybody was up. 5 a.m. the alarm would go off. I'd get in the ice bath. I'd go to the gym. I'd train kickboxing, do some weights. I'd go to work, read Spanish, walk, good food on my dinner breaks, finish that, go kickboxing, and then back to cleaning shoes. And it got to a point last year where my grandma got ill, and I realised that life is short and we're all going to die, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life working so fucking hard for no results. I've got a lot to thank kickboxing for, and I'll make a separate video on how training kickboxing and the discipline that came with it actually helped me succeed with my business. So in a nutshell, 2023, we eradicated bad habits. We built solid discipline, both body and mind, and I came up with a plan to leave the UK. And that's exactly what I did. January the 1st, 2024, I moved to Thailand. I had 9k in my bank. It should have been more, but I was delivery driving as well, and I crashed my car, so I had to pay for that. My granddad was ill, so I was flying to Manchester from Newcastle in the car, and yeah, I got a few speeding tickets. I'd be lying if I said on that plane I wasn't nervous. I had a girlfriend at the time. I really, really liked her, and part of me knew I wasn't going to make it work. I've got a lot to thank her though, because there were some times in Samui when I really did miss what I had, and I did question myself if I made the right decision. And that added a lot of fuel to the fire. Even my dad, leaving my mum and my dad, there's a picture of us down here. That was really tough. I'm a really family orientated, so the last time I was going to see my granddad too. So I left everything behind. I left a job that people deemed as being really good, and I left a job behind which people deemed as being a really good status role, and I probably would have went far in that career, but I just knew it wasn't what I wanted. Within the first week of getting there, I invested 6k into a mentorship. Bearing in mind I only had 9, so that left me with 3k left. And I started learning setting. So I was hammering outreaches, and I wasn't really making much money. I was in this new environment. I wasn't really sure what's going on, but I had this hunger inside of me that I knew I had to make it work. Because if I didn't make it work, I would have just had to go back home to the UK, and that was the last thing I wanted. I'd been telling people I was going to make it work, so going back home, it would have made me feel like such a failure. So January, we set it in stone. We moved to Thailand. We built good habits. I was enjoying my life. I was a little bit nervous, a little bit scared of what was going to come, and then February came. I made my first $50 online. I didn't make any commission from the set and roll, and my money was running out, so I had to do something fast. So I started some mindset coaching, $50 a month. So at the end of the day, business is solving other people's problems, and I thought, what problem can I solve? The only real thing I can help other people with is their mindset. Why? Because I used to be depressed. I used to be a stoner. I was kickboxing. I became this amateur European kickboxing champion. And that gave me the self-belief that I could help other people in a similar situation. So February was amazing. I made my first $50 online. I started meeting entrepreneurs who were making like 2-3k a month, and I was like, what the fuck, this is crazy. I was meeting guys making 30k as well, and that really distorted my reality. That's a picture of Heel there. He's he was doing e-com and crypto, and he really inspired me. He told me one thing. It was a day, actually. We went to this health lab. It's called Amber. And I couldn't afford the entry, so he paid for me to get in. And I told him I just made that $50. And he said a quote that has stuck with me to this day. He said, "When it rains, it pours." Anyway, myself and Jithan, who I was living with, we did an ultra marathon. So we did, I think it was like 70 kilometers around the full perimeter of Koh Samui. It took us like 12 hours. We were completely fucked. I even had to have a shit standing up when I got back. That's how fucked my legs were. During February and January, my whole mission was just connection calls. I was filling out my calendar, literally from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night, back-to-back connection calls, meeting other entrepreneurs, understanding what they do, and seeing how I could help these people. I was going for dinners with these guys making like 3K a month, 10K a month, and I was seeing what they were doing. And if they had a problem, and I thought I could help them, I would offer my service straight away. If they had a problem, and I just met someone who I thought they could get value from, I'd connect them together. So I started connecting a bunch of people, and people were saying, "Oh, thanks, Will," or "You're a legend." Sometimes I even got commission because two people I met together, actually got some business going between them. So things started to come together a bit more. My physique was getting better. Results were just starting to compound. Sales were coming a bit more. I started to actually get like significantly bigger months. My income now replaced what I was making back at my old 9-to-5 job. So I had felt some sort of accomplishment in that sense. I was meeting up with better entrepreneurs. We've got a guy here called Temi Lowry. I actually had a fight with him in the boxing finals at the European Championships. That's the belt I was wearing on the first picture. So it's good to connect with him, and he really inspired me quite a lot. But as things were starting to get better, something happened. I was due to go to Cambodia, which I was really excited about, but on the same day, my bank card got swallowed by the ATM and my phone got run over by a car. Initially, I didn't worry because I'd been studying Stoicism and I understand you can't control the uncontrollables. But panic did hit a little bit when I realized I had no access to money. I couldn't withdraw cash, I had no cash in my wallet, and my phone was dead. My phone was completely broken. It got run over by a car. So luckily, one of my boys, Luke Jeffrey, I fucking love you, brother. My dad wired him some money. He got me some money out. I managed to buy a phone, and I had about $100 worth of Cambodian currency to take me there. And I was living off Diet Coke, which I hate, and fruit, because that's the only thing I could really afford in Cambodia. That was a really crazy time. And I spoke about this with a few of my friends who were doing significantly better than me at the time. And this was really a test from the entrepreneurial gods. I'd kind of seen results now. I knew things were making progress. I knew things were starting to work. But I truly believe that this period of time was the entrepreneurial gods testing me, asking me, do I actually want this? Do I really want this life? Do I want to be running a business? Do I want to be traveling the world? Because the easier option is to stay at home in my comfort zone, work a job where I know I'm going to get a salary, be surrounded by my family, have my mum wake me up every morning or make me breakfast. That's the stuff that really made me a man. In April, I really grew up. I became really independent, really strong-minded as well. My discipline was already there through the kickboxing, but something else changed. This was really the catalyst of independence. When May came around, we did a bit more money in May, which I was quite happy about. Willionaire became an actual group for entrepreneurs. So this was the real birth of Willionaire. The mindset group was always called Willionaire, but by May, it was specifically a group for entrepreneurs. So this is when the magic started to happen. The networking started to pay dividends. People seeing what I was doing, they wanted to join my group. My mum visited me, which was the most amazing feeling in the world. And I really found my why. I found my passion. I found the business model which I wanted to take to the moon. I was still completely new to business and I didn't really know what I was doing. But I was having a good time with my friends. I was having a good time with the lads in the community. My mum came to visit me, which I was over the moon about. And I started to make a plan on how I'm actually going to grow this. Then June came around. This is where momentum really started to pick up. 6 months down the line now, Willionaire was in full force. You can see pictures there of our meals together, of events and activities I was organising. I was actually so busy working that I would arrange events, meet people at the meeting points, then I'd have to go back to my computer to take these connection calls and in the hope of a sale. I had no idea how to sell things back then. We hit 5K, 4.7K, I know, but I tell myself 5k. And what's really special about this is on my whiteboard, in my bedroom at home, there's a bunch of quotes. And one of the things that I manifested was 5k by June. 5k per month by June. And I fucking did it. And that just shows how powerful speaking things into existence are. So I hit my first 5k month. I was organising day trips. I was running off serious momentum. But I was still using pure brute force to get to these figures. I was still having churns, and I was trying to chase the churns and counteract the churns and get more people than people were leaving. It was just real hard work. And the top picture here was my leaving meal. I headed to Bangkok after this, and I was sat there thinking, how is this even possible? How am I living this life right now? How have I managed to do this? And that was a very powerful moment for me. People at home, at my leaving meal there, they were all singing my praises, wanting me to do well. But when I left, they didn't really give a fuck. They didn't message me. They didn't check up on me. They took the piss on me in group chats. But these boys right there, these boys are there for us. They're rooting for me. They want me to win. They're helping me win. That moment was quite special, to be honest. And then that leads us to July. I went to Bangkok first with Luke Jeffrey, who I spoke about before. We met up with some of the Willionaire guys in Bangkok. At the time, I think it was only Tom Hutch. We had a sick time, and I got my eyes opened to really what's possible. I met some more millionaires there. I met guys making 100k a month. And then I went to Da Nang in Vietnam. Luke joined me for a week. In Da Nang, I scaled past that 5k a month. I met more people in Da Nang who then later down the line joined Willionaire. I had serious work ethic, but I still wanted more. I started with an online coach to take my physique to the next level, because all I cared about here was actually winning. Da Nang, where I first realised that the life I'm living right now is exceptional. Living wherever I wanted, working completely remote, making money from my laptop, more money than I'd ever made before in my life. And it was all happening here at once. And then we get to August. This was my first month in Bali. I moved into a villa with Jared and Sam, two of the guys in Willionaire. I hit a record month following Vietnam's grind mode, which took me to 7.6k. I hired a VA. I was tired of the constant graft. My social batteries were run out from the previous 6 months, 7 months of constant connection calls. So I hired a VA. I hired a VA to try and help me with the workload, try and help me with the admin so I could then do more calls again. But it didn't really work out how expected, so I had to get rid of her. But these pictures here, you can see Tom Hutch came to visit us, Jared Deacon came, Sam came, and then this is Tyler Remy, who we met in Bali for the first time. Actually, I met Remy in Koh Samui, but Tyler, we'd been in contact since January, so it was great to meet him in person. So August was the first Willionaire Villa, which I'd done, and I was super excited about it. We had such a laugh and such a good time, and we made a shit ton of progress. September came. This was probably the happiest I'd ever been. I then moved into a villa with Tully. We were reunited. We met up with some sick guys in Canggu in Bali. I was no longer struggling for money here. So for the past few months, I'd hit like over 5Ks. So I was in that abundance mindset. I understood that money was easy to make. I was starting to reap the rewards of training with the online fitness coach. I was getting in the best shape I've ever been in my life. Money was abundant. I was just really happy. Life felt like it had no limits. I could do anything I wanted. Massages, if I wanted a massage, I could go. If I wanted to eat out at a restaurant, I could go and eat out at a restaurant. If I wanted to pay for the most expensive gym there, I could pay for the most expensive gym there. So it was here in Bali where I really understood the limits. It was in Bali where I really understood that there is no limitations on our lives. The only limitations we set on ourselves are the ones that we oppose on ourselves anyway. At the end of the month, I had to go to Singapore for a visa run. Boy, this was expensive. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I met some cool people there. There was lots of nice things to do. And I can just remember sitting on one of the rooftop bars, journaling, reflecting on everything. And journaling has actually been a massive part of my year. I think I took it more seriously when I flew to Bali. In Bali, my journals became more intense. I started writing philosophy and lessons to my younger self, and manifesting the life I wanted, understanding my weak points and why I sometimes do things I don't want to do. And a lot of the things that happened in September is like where I got the ideas for some of these tattoos you can see. And then October came, absolutely class. There was way more cool day trips going down with the boys. I was recording podcasts. I was having an absolute ball. I met more brothers for life. I was living in another villa now with Tully and Nick. We did so much cool shit. Like you can see here, we went whitewater rafting. We're doing days on the quad bikes. I had a complete improved vision for Willionaire. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly where I was going to take it. Again, Jalen played a massive role. And I got lean as fuck. Like, I'll move this out of the way. I just want you to bask in that magnificent of that body there. That took me so much graft to get that lean. But I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to get shredded again in April. Then November came. November is always quite a special month for me. It's my birthday, and I tend to look back at my life when my birthday comes around, and I always think about what is my life going to be like when I turn 22, when I turn 23, when I turn 24. And then I also look back at my life and think, would 19-year-old be Will? Would 19-year-old Will be at all surprised or proud of the way 22-year-old Will is behaving or living? So in November, I visited Hong Kong. From Bali, I flew to Hong Kong for a week. And then I lived in Dubai for 1 month. I've spelled Dubai wrong here, apologies. It's in Hong Kong. I've got a tattoo here, discipline, but it's spelled wrong. It says discipline, so you're going to all laugh at us for that. And this was a really strange feeling because I almost felt like I didn't deserve to be in Dubai. I felt like I wasn't making enough money. But as soon as I got there, I realized that this is the exact place I needed to be. I needed to be slapped in the face again by what was possible. I needed to be slapped in the face with the wealth. I spent way too much money in Dubai though. Almost all the money I'd managed to save, which wasn't much from the last months because I was spending loads. I spent nearly all of it in Dubai. And at this point, I actually missed home. It's also worth saying that I manifested this moment. I told myself on my 22nd birthday, I'm going to wake up on the palm or looking over the palm in Dubai. And that's exactly what happened. This is why I never shit on people manifesting. I never shit on people talking things into existence. Because it's so fucking powerful. And it really does work. Like, if it didn't work, I wouldn't be sharing it. And I don't just make that shit up. But yeah, I was really missing home. My granddad was still alive. And he was deteriorating quite fast. So with that in mind, and I was missing my family so much, I went home. So it took us to December. I arrived, I surprised my family, and I went straight down to Manchester to see my granddad. You can see him here. He wasn't in a good way, and we stayed with him for about 5 or 7 days, and he eventually slipped away. But in a way, I'm glad he held on to see me. It was almost like, it was nice to say a final goodbye. So I was reunited with my family after 11 months of being away from home. We did a Snowdonia mastermind in Wales, which was sick. We got Alexander, Julius, Kasim, Ned, Jamie, Ben, Jack, and Ish. So there's a big bunch of us down in Snowdonia. We did some sick things like sparring, 10k run, sunrise hike, steaks. We had such a good time. And then towards the end, after Christmas and stuff, we flew to Bulgaria. We did an event in Bulgaria, which took us over the New Year's period, and I came up with a really, really strong 2025 game plan. December was a strange month, being back at home. After being away for so long, I felt like a completely changed person. I felt like I left a boy and I came back a man. I had so much purpose, and my vision was so clear. I knew exactly what I need to do now. And then after Bulgaria, we went to Milan. From Milan back home to England. From England here to Marbella, and 2025 has been spectacular so far. We've held 2 in real life events with the Willionaire Boys. We've hit 20k months consecutively. We've got 2 more events planned. Up my prices valuing the people in there. I'm building a team out. I've got people on my marketing doing my content. I've got people doing my emails. I've got people helping me with my ads. I've got an actual accountant. I'm getting a genuine business set up now, which is nice. And we're getting that set up in Dubai over the next few weeks. So it's been absolute madness, to be honest. The rate of growth has been scary. To think about last February we made $50 and this February we made 20k. It's ridiculous. I truly believe the life I lived in 2024 is the life people live in an entire year. I learned so much about business, about myself, about life, about philosophy, about human psychology. None of this would have happened if I didn't take that risk, moved out my parents' house, just gave something a go. So, to whoever's watching this, if you're a guy in the position I was in, maybe you were depressed, let this inspire you. If you're a guy who's working ridiculously hard, working on himself, maybe he's got a little business in the UK, maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job and you want to get out of it, then let this be some inspiration. Take risks. Keep your heart in your chest and your balls in your sack and just give it a good go. And if you're an entrepreneur watching this, then keep fucking grinding, because things happen fast. Doesn't mean things happen overnight, but it doesn't mean things don't happen fast. Of course, if you're an entrepreneur making over 10k per month, you want to live in all these places like I did. You want to surround yourself with other guys making 5-6 figures a month. Then yeah, we can have a chat about joining Willionaire. Joking, no pitch. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Can you see the guns?